Welcome to my first layout update. First off, if you're here for gardening videos, there will be more of those in the spring. But for right now, we're going to do some train stuff. As you can see, my layout is a working layout in that, it needs to be in operational condition every morning, as my son very much enjoys watching the train and playing with the train. He's almost 2.5 now. And my wife and his grandmother have to be able to run it as well. So it means I have to make sure it's working every night. So we'll just start with a review of this Thomas engine. It's new to us, and I think it's a great little engine. My son has really enjoyed it. My only complaint is the front is too light and the back is too heavy. And as you'll see here, if it bumps on a track, it'll often lose the cars behind it because the hook will go underneath the hook of the cars. It kind of does a pop a wheelie, which is disappointing. So as for updates to the layout, I did go ahead and add an extra section on here. As you can see, I realized that I need more yard space, so the yard will now be able to extend underneath the track here. By giving myself more room on the up as the Thomas is coming up the hill here, it gets the track to full height so that the yard track can go underneath it fully, which is kind of nice. I've also started wiring all the switches for constant current 12 volt DC with switching from the SC2s and the remote, as well as the manual switches on the table, which is kind of nice. So all of the switches have been wired up with a capacitor and a resistor in the circuit so that they don't hum when the train sits on the switch, which is a real defect in the 027 Lionel switches. Here's the SC2s all wired up. I know it's a mess. This is my little table where I've built underneath the track so that I can put my powerhouse and my power masters. And here's that wiring that has the resistors and the capacitors and the 12 volt DC. So here's another thing I've done. I've added pulleys to the whole table and rope, and so that I can pull the table all the way up to the ceiling when I want to use my garage for woodworking, which I recently did when I'm working on making Bryce's bed. And there's the winch there. And I'll show you the woodworking project. It's currently stacked on the floor here. But all the pieces are cut and ready to go, which is exciting. I was able to do that on my table saw with the train table winched all the way to the ceiling. So this is another project I've been working on. This is my favorite engine from my childhood, and I wanted to get it running with command and control. So I upgraded it with the electronic railroads kit. And it's working really well. The only thing is the engine does have a bit of a hum to it, or a growling sound when it's at low speed, but it does have really good speed control, and it's pretty cool to be able to run it with my other engines at the same time with the Cab 1 remote. So I'm pretty happy with all of that, and here are just some shots of it running. It's a great little engine, and obviously it's my favorite. So we'll just end the video here with some shots of my big CN engine running with the new box car that I got recently behind it. This is a great engine. The sounds are amazing. It's a great engine. It's a lot of fun to run. It does run a little bit rough on the minimum radius of 036. I only have 042 on the table as my minimum radius, but it still has a little bit of trouble in the 042 switches sometimes. But I still think it's a great engine, and it does work on 027, or not on 027, but on 027 track at 042 radius.